and welcome back to my channel. You have arrived at video number 2 of the Finding Career Abundance series. This video is going to take you from the first video where you found the job of your dreams and you've applied and scored yourself an interview to getting hired, which means you're right, this is all about the interview process, and I have 5 tips and tricks for you to get hired. So make sure to subscribe and ring the bell if you would like to stay in the loop when the next video comes up in a few days. It's going to be epic. It's actually the one I'm most looking forward to making because I don't think enough people talk about the fact that you need to be a good employee and how to be a good employee if you want to live a fun and happy and abundant life. So, like I said, ring the bell, subscribe to my channel. Don't miss that one. Don't miss it. Okay, let's get this rolling. Who's got all day? I don't. All right, so anyways, tip number 1 is, drumroll please. Tip number 1 is be prepared. Like, be prepared. Who was a Boy Scout? Me. Anyways, what I mean by this is when you're being prepared for an interview, there's a couple things you have to do. So one is you need to remember that a job interview is basically a date. Yes, it's a date. So when you show up for a first date with somebody, there's some certain things that you always take care of, right? Like your personal grooming and attire. You get your hair done, you buy a new outfit, you do your makeup extra nice, and another thing that you do before a first date as much as you can is you get on the old internet and you learn about that person, or at least you creep them and you search their Facebook profile and whatever else you find online for them, you search it. And that's basically exactly what I want you to do here. I want you to look the part and I want you to know everything you can about the company going into the interview. And the third thing that you're going to do in the be prepared is you're going to have somebody quiz you on some of the most popular interview questions so you can get some pretty epic answers ready before an interview. And the other thing that you're going to do is you're going to practice as much as possible, and you're going to tell yourself the mantras from the first video that you're going to have this job, it's going to be amazing, it's going to make your life better, and because you have this job, you're going to be able to help people in this way. And just continue to visualize leading up into the interview about how you're going to show up, and knowing and talking to yourself about how grateful you are for the opportunity to have had that interview, and how grateful you are to yourself for how you performed. And that's basically the biggest steps to being prepared for an interview. Treat it like a date, look great, smell great, take a shower, know as much as you can going into it, and practice. Tip number 2. Show up 10 minutes early. Why 10 minutes? Well, because if you look at studies, it tells you that arriving 10 minutes early is the most polite amount of time you can arrive to something. When someone is planning for you to arrive at 1 o'clock and you arrive half an hour before or a half hour later, it's showing disrespect to their time. And not everybody thinks about it in the flip side of being half an hour early. But what you're going to do is you're going to walk into the office 10 minutes before the interview. And I don't mean show up to the office 10 minutes early. What you really need to do is make sure that you're there in the parking lot even earlier so that you know 100% that you won't be late. If you have to be there at 1, be in the parking lot by 12:30 and sit in the car for 15-20 minutes and really just continue to focus in on how you're going to answer your questions and getting yourself excited and motivated for this interview, getting yourself into the power pose that says, yes, I can, I'm going to do amazing at this, and have that mantra going about how amazing you're going to be in this interview and how amazing you were, right? Present tense, were in this interview, and you're so proud of yourself for how you performed. And walk in there and you're going to show up as soon as you walk in the door. And I'm really emphasizing the show up because as soon as you walk into that office, you're on show. And not everybody thinks about it like that. But everybody there could potentially be the hiring manager or have the ear of the hiring manager, or you could be being watched and you don't even know. As a manager, when I'm doing interviews, there's plenty of times where I'm looking out the window of my office watching how that person engages with my team and the space. So you have to remember, as soon as you walk in, you're on show. So treat everybody with kindness, engage with everybody you see, and just assume that everybody you're talking to is the person that makes the decision on whether or not you get the job. Show up 10 minutes early. Step number 3, create rapport. I'm quickly going to just read you the definition of rapport to make sure we're all on the same page on what I'm talking about. Rapport is defined as a close and harmonious relationship in which the people or groups concerned understand each other's feelings or ideas and communicate well. This is the goal of an interview. If you can establish this two-way communication that goes back and forth freely, then your interview is just going to go so much better because you're going to be comfortable, they're going to be comfortable. So how do you establish rapport? There's a few ways of doing this, but what it comes down to is you need to have the ability to chameleon a bit, in the sense that I need you to be paying attention to how the hiring manager is handling themselves. This can be anything from how they're talking, their posture, any type of body language that they're doing. So one of the fastest ways to get into rapport to somebody is to immediately shake their hand and make eye contact and smile. And when you shake their hand, do your best to match their intensity so that it's a comfortable handshake for everybody involved. The second thing that you're going to do is, as soon as you sit down, you're going to put yourself in a similar body position to the hiring manager. If they're sitting big, then you're going to sit big. And the last thing you're going to do, and even if they do this, this is going to be the last thing you do, is you're going to close off your body language. You need to keep everything open and inviting and not put any barriers between that free flow of communication. The third thing you're going to do is you're going to get a little bit personal with them in a way that you can show that they care. So if you're lucky enough to be in a hiring manager's office who gets to personalize their office, you might be able to find a picture or a memorabilia that's worth commenting on. And if that's not there, there's not an immediate topic of conversation for you, then just going into how's your week or how's your day going, how's the interview process, and just making sure to make the hiring manager know that you're seeing them as a person and not as a hiring manager. Very important. And continuing throughout the conversation, matching a similar tone and energy level to them will really get that comfortable communication, which you need, as I said before, to continue to have this clear and understood thought process to them. Yeah. Rapport is a really hard thing to try and explain in like less than 2 minutes. When I learned about rapport, I think it took like 3 hours. So if you want more information on it, comment down below and I can do way more. It just takes way more time. Oh, you could also do, maybe I'll make a YouTube video on the whole thing one day. We'll see. The possibilities are endless. Back to work. Tip number 4. Above all else, be positive. In case it hasn't been made clear yet, positivity is the way through everything. If you can remain positive in any situation, the outcome will be better than if you couldn't. And in this situation, it couldn't be even argued in any way. As the hiring manager, the most important behavior that I am looking to find in someone is willingness. Your interview happened because your resume qualifies you for that interview. What the interview is for is to find out if when I bring you on board, are you going to be able to be a positive and helpful member of the team? Are you going to make my business better? And a fundamental part of that is willingness, because when you're hiring somebody, you need them to be able to respond to any coaching or feedback you have for them with this desire to grow and be better. I want to find somebody that walks into my office wanting to be better than just the position they're hiring for. I want to see somebody who has this motivation to be more than they are today. I want to see willingness. And so how do I know that that's there? Positivity is positively one of the big pieces in this. I need to see that someone looks at the world and themselves as someone that has this ability to grow and do better. And the second big part of that is, does that person also recognize that life happened because of them, not to them? So success in previous careers or failures in previous careers are a direct result of choices that they made. And I am 100% okay with someone walking in and saying they made this huge mistake. But what I really want to hear back from them is how they made it better and that they owned it. And that's key. So in an interview, don't be scared to be vulnerable and share those moments where you weren't proud of your actions or you weren't proud of the outcome. And be excited to tell them that this is what I did when this happened. This is how I corrected myself and owned that behavior and made sure that this never happened again. And that is literally why they ask you in almost every interview, tell me about a time you failed. Because we want to know, are you willing to put in the work and accept that everybody needs work to be better? Be positive, be willing, and you'll get hired. Step number 5, don't let them forget you. If you followed all of the tips and tricks from the first video and you've followed all the tips and tricks from this video and you walked into the interview and you did all of these things, I'm pretty sure you're already unforgettable. So congratulations. But there is one more thing you can do that'll make you stand out from the crowd. And that's to make sure when you leave that interview, you have the contact information you need of the hiring manager. And what you're going to do within 24 hours of your interview is you're going to send them an email that thanks them for their time and compliments something either about the place of business, somebody that you met in the office, or the interview itself and how you felt like there was this good rapport between you and you were really excited for the opportunity to then be able to work with this person. And you're going to add in the manifestation statement again that you worked into your cover letter about the amazing impact you'll be having on this organization when they hire you. And keep it brief. I'm talking like less than a minute to read because we have to respect their time. But after a long day or two of interviews, to get this email from someone that says, like, I'm still very interested in working here and I like you, it means a lot and it puts you top of mind again. And it goes a very long way. I can't even tell you how many times when that happens it makes me smile and how much more likely that candidate is to get the job. All right, you've made it through the interview. You've done a fantastic job. I am so proud of you, and you should be so proud of yourself. Now it's time for you to switch up how you're manifesting and really just make sure to thank the universe for the opportunity you had today to meet that person that you met, because no one ever just comes into your life for no reason at all. And to thank yourself for the amount of work you were willing to put into this, and thank yourself for how amazing you were today. Oh my gosh, like, do not forget to be so proud of yourself for how you handled yourself in the interview. And then thank the universe for the job that you're going to be getting. And then ding, 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 reality check. You might have to do this another time, but that's okay because you've figured it out and you are now the master of interviewing. And you know that in the end, it'll all be worth it because you've done the work and you're amazing. You're going to get that job. In fact, I'm pretty sure you already have that job. And you're going to have a fantastic life full of abundance thanks to this job. That's it for now. Bye.